Hi there, this is Lynn, the Maritime Mystic. Welcome to today's reading. So today's reading is simply the answer to the question of what you need to hear most to help you with your personal progress at this time. So today you can choose from pile number 1, pile number 2, or pile number 3. So if you need a moment to decide which pile that you feel the most drawn to, go ahead and pause the video and come back when you're ready. But for now, let's get started. Pile number 1. What's the first card? The Emperor. Okay, so in this deck, the Emperor talks about being faced with the domain of the material, stability, and an equilibrium that's gained through experience and rationality. So this Emperor incarnates the masculine and patriarchal power, capable of attaining, concrete conquests in the world, including those in the economic field. So it's demonstrated, as they say in the book, it talks about it being demonstrated by the casket that he leans on. So now, just this card also represents, there's an anchor there, which represents security and stability, like being firmly anchored, feet firmly on the ground type of thing. So that's a stable foundation. Now, this card only warns of, that excess abuse of that power can, bring about your degeneration or making this person become a cold tyrant or an adversary instead of a paternal and comforting figure. So the main message from this card, which is in this card, it's the advice of the dead. It says, do not be afraid of aiming high with your objectives and those you are materially constructing, even accepting the help of a person who is important and protective. So that's the first card, the Emperor. What have we got for card number 2? Well, look at that. Once again, we have the Emperor. And in this deck, it's got a slightly different meaning. So in this deck, the Emperor is associated with the sign of Aries, the ram. And the Emperor represents the earthly father. So again, that same paternal vibe it's got there. And it's depicted as the enthroned Roman emperor in this deck. It signifies power, it's the personification of power. And it also suggests the accumulation of material wealth again. So, although disciplined and visionary, he keeps his emotions under wraps. So can also indicate a desire for independence. So both of these cards are indicating, the possibility of real great financial stability. And just, kind of keep your feet firmly planted on the ground and don't abuse that power when it comes to you. Now, this card that goes with those is the Hawk, and it's talking about focus, and it's talking about choosing your priorities and eliminating all those distractions. So all those little things that don't count, the things that you've kind of been doing habitually that, you thought you have to do every day and that sort of thing. Well, it's kind of time to shelve those things and just focus on your priorities. Eliminate any distractions and focus on the things that you need to do to gain that power and financial independence that's right there waiting for you. So that, my friends, is pile number 1. And now it's time for pile number 2. Pile number 2. Let's first go to this card. And here we have the 6 of Cups. Now in this deck, this card represents the balance, being precarious, and the tendency to live in the past. It's also about, accumulating memories and nostalgia that could bring us to accumulate uncertainties. So, and hiding from the present and kind of an inevitable solitude, right? And it talks about only through renewal and a new acquisition of trust regarding the future can the situation be reversed. So it talks about the advice of the dead in this card. It says, carefully analyze the reasons for your current situation. So take a good look at how things are and use the energy at your disposal to organize your future rather than letting it shrivel and stagnate. So, it's talking about you're just, balancing things, and you're not quite, you're kind of living in the past and thinking about how things used to be or how you thought they were going to be, and it's helped you, as this card says, to accumulate uncertainties and hide from the present. So, and inevitable solitude. So then we've got Six of Pentacles. That card is in reverse. So the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Now, that card talks about, bad loans and selfish behavior and that sort of thing. And that's a card, a cautious money card. So that's, being really careful with your money. So it talks about bad debt. So, if you've got, this isn't a good time to loan people money, let's say, right? And, that's these cups precariously sitting and possibly spilling out. And this is a card about, selfish behavior, not being careful about how you spend your money, or loaning money out that you shouldn't and not getting it paid back, and not taking on loans, and getting in over your head. So that's a card of caution that's meant to help you right now. And what have we got here? The Black Panther. So this card is about following your passion, right? And this other card, mentioned solitude, the Six of Cups. And this card, being a feline, they are sort of solitary creatures. And so it talks about not denying yourself, the fruits of following your true passion. And, you're worried about your safety, you're worried about survival. It's not about taking on any debt to do it, though. This is very clear. But it says that, once you've discovered what your true passion is, and you probably already know what that is, that it's time to start honoring it and living it. And then all else will be taken care of. Things will fall into place. It's that synchronicity that may have fallen out of your life, that, maybe you used to experience it and you kind of fallen into this other path, and don't worry about how others are going to look at things, or, if anybody's going to approve of it, that sort of thing. Just make sure that you approve of it yourself. The cat, the Black Panther, in some cultures is called the Midnight Jaguar. It's a very, very magical creature. So you can look into that and see what all the meanings are for that. But it's a beautiful card to have about following your passion. And, that's going to help you with these other situations that the other cards did indicate there. So let's pop these out here so we don't forget what they were. So pile number 2, that's your reading, and that's what you need to know at this time. Now let's move on to pile number 3. And now it's time for pile number 3. So pile number 3, your first card, the Four of Swords. So the Four of Swords, the number 4, stable and balanced, and associated with the swords, it brings us a time out, to solitude, to isolation. It's another card about solitude. Solitude, isolation, a barrier, a fence, a hermetically sealed container around us that will decelerate or ensure that we never reach our ideals or realize them. And by exploiting this time of isolation as a period of rest and in-depth searching, the situation could change and be reborn. So this is, again, one of those cards that talks about, really taking advantage of that time that you're on your own, to change the way things are and to grow into what you're supposed to be. And this book has the advice of the dead with each card. So the advice of the dead is remain calm, wait, and use this moment of stasis to study and think deeply about all that you need for the near future. So that's the advice of the dead. for that card. And now, the next card. The Hermit. Oh my goodness. So here we go again with the isolation, right? So this is really important to, take that time to yourself, apparently, especially for pile number 3. There's a little bit of it in pile number 2, but it's a really strong message in pile number 3. So in this deck, the Hermit is associated with the sign of Virgo. It's kind of the natural healer of the zodiac. And in this card, you'll see the old man leaning on a staff and holding up a shining lantern, and he shows the way to wisdom and enlightenment. And this strong healing card suggests looking inward, seeking the inner path as an opportunity for self-knowledge. So that is your message. So it's definitely about taking that time and going within and, finding that knowledge that's waiting there for you to make the changes that you need to do. So then we've got this card with it, the kangaroo. The kangaroo is the gratitude card. It's like being grateful for everything that you're blessed with. And in this case, it's probably, about being blessed with that time to yourself and being grateful for that. So, in a world that's materially oriented, we're constantly bombarded with so many possibilities and choices, to get all those material things and accumulate them. It's so easy to forget to be grateful for what you do have than feeling envious and resentful for what you don't have. So this card talks about trusting that you'll always have what you need. And, it's kind of like allowing the richness and goodness and, of, the universe to be yours and not, not taking from the earth out of greed or anything like that, but just out of acceptance and continuous appreciation for the gifts you do receive, and that everything that comes your way is in actuality a gift, whether or not you consciously manifested it. And in this case, it's talking about the solitude being a gift. So that's a really strong, clear message there, pile number 3. So it's about nurturing self and kangaroo is also about family, and it's also about generosity and abundance, because, the kangaroo has the little pouch there. But just remember that whatever this solitude is about right now is really important for you to be able to, attain your personal growth that the universe has in mind for you at this time. So it's your time. It is definitely your time. Pile number 3. So all of these cards, put them here so you can see them all. Nice clear messages. The first one, it had 2 cards of the Emperor, so that's definitely a clear message. When you see 2 of the same card in the same reading, it's definitely a strong message in regards to that card. It really wants to shout that at you. So I hope this is helpful. If you do have any questions, please put a comment below and I will answer. And if you're looking for a personal reading, please reach out, send me a message, and I'll get back to you. You can contact me through the comments or through private messages, or you can send an email to maritimemystic@outlook.com, and I'll note that below on the YouTube video. So I hope this helps you, and I wish everyone many blessings, and I hope you have a beautiful day.